When I was pastoring a healthy, growing church in Beltsville, Maryland, we had to decide how we were going to compensate for the new people that we were reaching. We were focusing on disciple making and bringing people to Christ and helping them grow in Christ. And as a result, we started running out of room. So we had to decide, are we going to build a bigger facility or plant a church? So when we entertained the idea of planting a church, we started looking at the demographic area around the church. Being just north of Washington, D.C., we recognized that there were vast segments of the population that were not being targeted or reached by current Seventh-day Adventist churches. Our churches and the other amazing churches that were there just didn't have the ability to reach all these pockets of communities in the greater DMV area, the DC, Maryland, Virginia. They didn't have the ability to reach them. So we started entertaining the idea of not just planting one church to compensate for us, but planting many churches. And we looked to the idea of just starting this new church in Silver Spring, Maryland, just at the top of Washington, D.C. We pulled together a bunch of leaders. We spent time in prayer together. We recruited a team of people. And then we began the process of launching this new church. When we launched this new church, or just before we launched this new church, all of these people who had not been connected with the church just started coming out. People started inviting their friends and family and neighbors and people that they were in relationship with, people who were new to the community, started inviting them to be part of this new church that was starting. And as a result of it, not just this core group of people that came from the original church become part of this new campus or church of Beltsville, but they started to be able to reach other people. And come to find out that because we were now in Silver Spring rather than in Beltsville, that the distance was a barrier to people. And all of a sudden we realized that these communities were almost like self-contained communities. So we began entertaining the idea of not just planting this church, but planting other churches. And we started collaborating with other pastors and churches in the area to reach the entire DMV area. After the success of the first church plant, we began looking at another church plant now in the heart of the District of Columbia, in the heart of D.C. As a result of that, we hired a campus pastor, a pastor to pastor this church, and she ended up launching, Joanne Cortez ended up launching this new church that 2 years after launching has begun a core group for another church plant. So because of the original vision of outgrowing our facility, we now have 3 other locations in the greater DMV area just a few years later because of our willingness to move beyond our own separate facility, our own church campus, and reach people further on. Now, as I've done more studies and research and dug deep into this, there are entire cities throughout North America, like here in Seattle, Washington. In Seattle itself, with the vast millions of population right here in Seattle and the number of current amazing churches that we have, there are huge, vast communities that are not being reached. And if we could collaborate with these churches that are existing and send groups of people as core teams to plant new churches in these other unentered communities of Seattle, Washington, we can reach far more many people. And my hope is that as a result of this Seeds Conference and other things, that other people will be inspired to be able to step out of their comfort zone for the sake of disciple making to reach other people too.